Well, hey everybody, it's Kevbo Jones with another episode of the Wonderful World of Baseball Cards. I wanted to do the video response for Don's Field of Dreams on cards that are sentimental and meaningful in our collections and why they are sentimental and meaningful. It's taken me a minute to get around to doing this video, but tonight on Sunday I just felt like it was time, and these are all cards that came from family members, and I'll do my best to tell the stories behind them. So the first one is a 1968 Topps Carly Yastrzemski. This was a gift from my brother when I was about 15 years old. He was away at college and went to a card show, I think in Minnesota, and found this just beautiful, beautiful example of this card for me for my 15th birthday, and gave me this little plaque that I have as well that says Carly Yastrzemski 1967 Triple Crown. And the reason he got me this card is because this is the year that has his Triple Crown stats on the back, which he always liked that and thought it was really cool. And this has just always been a special card for me. He's given me many other nice cards over the years, but it's just something special about this Carly Yastrzemski. Like I said, I've had it since I was 15. I was a big Yaz fan, and just always been a really special card. The next three that I'm going to show all came as a Christmas present, and I've shown these before on my channel. At least they've made cameos over the years, but I got these three cards in Christmas, probably when I was about 13. I think I checked off some cards maybe that I wanted from Kit Young, maybe, an ad in Old Baseball Cards magazine. I'm thinking these might have come from Kit Young, but I'm not sure. But I got these cards Christmas Eve morning, the day before Christmas. My mom gave me this little box, and it had these three cards in it, and I just still remember opening that little box and not knowing at all what was in it, and then being completely shocked by the cards that were in there. So the first one is a 1958 Topps Early Win that was given to me by my mom on Christmas Eve morning, probably back in 1988. It's a great card. The famous 1958 Topps Mickey Mantle All-Star. All-time classic card, triple print. I just thought this was so unbelievably cool. This is just, will always be in my collection. All these cards, if I had to whittle it down to 10 or 20 cards, every card you see in this would make the cut. But this 58, the famous triple print, 1958 Topps Mickey Mantle All-Star, just a classic card, and a great affordable entry point for people looking to get into the vintage Mantle. Just a great aesthetically pleasing card. And then the last one, I graded this in the first submission ever to PSA. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just picked cards I liked and sent them to PSA. I didn't even have a loop or anything, but this 1958 Topps Willie Mays came with the Early Win and the Mantle All-Star. And just seeing these cards, opening them up, it was just so special and extremely meaningful to me. We'll get Willie up here. Yeah, Christmas Eve morning, 1998, I believe. These next two, it took me forever to even figure out what these were. And I've told this story. I did a video on this. This was one of my first videos that I ever did. My mom had a big box of photos and scrapbooks and stuff from my grandparents as she was putting together their 50th anniversary kind of memento book. And one night I was in there kind of helping her out, going through stuff, looking through old pictures, and asking questions to my mom about my grandma and grandpa, and they'd come and they'd visit us a couple times every year, and we'd go and see them out in Minnesota, and it was fantastic. But I found these in it tucked away in an old envelope inside a scrapbook, and and I didn't even know what these were until probably 10 years ago, but a 1933 Wirch cigars, Lou Gehrig. These were made in Minneapolis or St. Paul in 1933. I think you had to clip a coupon from the newspaper, and I'm thinking select your player who you wanted. My grandpa was a big fan of Lou Gehrig, so if I think back to 1933, my grandpa would have been 16 or 17 years old when these were made. And I was just blown away, and I showed this to him years later, and he just lit up and was just so excited and said he hadn't seen them in years and was happy that I had them that I could add them to my collection. So a 1933 Wirch cigar, Lou Gehrig, and then also from that same set, a 1933 Wirch cigar, Lefty Grove, which the Philadelphia A's were my grandpa's favorite team growing up. They didn't have a team, obviously, in Minnesota back in the 30s, and my grandpa just loved the Philadelphia A's, and Lefty Grove was his favorite player. You see, these are just kind of blank back cards, but the fact that these survived all these years, and again, my grandpa he said Lefty Grove was his one of his all-time favorite players, and which makes me think he picked this card. And so these two were just in an envelope in a scrapbook, and just so neat. And then this last one is very interesting. And you guys might laugh when you see it, but this has high sentimental value. So this is the 1986 Topps Vince Coleman, and I saw this at the very first card show that I ever went to, probably in 1987 or 1988, in some dingy, dark room back in Green Bay, and I saw this little plaque for Vince Coleman, and I was begging my dad. I opened so much of this 86 Topps and never pulled a Vince Coleman card. And I was begging my dad. I said, Dad, I really want that. It's so cool to, please. And he's like, no, not today. And, I was a little bummed out because Vince Coleman, there was a stretch when he was one of my favorite players in the league. That wasn't Ryne Sandberg, Robin Yount, or Paul Molitor. And so we left the show, and I was like, Dad, I really like that, and I don't know if I'll ever see it again. Well, lo and behold, Christmas later that year, I get this strangely wrapped package. And what is in it but this plaque? My dad, when he saw how much I liked it, he thought it would be a perfect Christmas present. Went back to the show and bought it. Kind of, I guess, playing a little trick on me and teaching me lessons about waiting and patience and things like that. And gave this to me for Christmas. And this sat on the shelf in my bedroom for years and years. And finally, one of the last times I was home, I picked it up and threw it in the suitcase and brought it back to my house. And it's now on the shelf in my den. But this was it was so cool. I was so unbelievably shocked when this showed up, and it's just always been so special, so special. So Anyway, folks, that's my kind of nostalgic cards and some of the stories behind them. Kevbo Jones, Wonderful World of Baseball cards. See you soon. Later.